What happens to the sea when it gets full? Well, the sea doesn't get full. And we know that's because of the water cycle, the evaporation, and we have the same water on this earth that's been on this earth for forever. It's unending. It continues day after day. And Solomon continues to make these cases to talk about the cycles that are unending, that they continue. As I said, verse 6, the wind cycle. Verse 7, the water cycle. It continues, and it does not end. And so, like I said, this is a circle that Solomon uses to say, you are stuck in this circle. And you might think that you can get out of this circle. But you are in this circle day after day after day. And so, we move down to verses 8 through 11. We move down to verse 8. We'll move to 9 through 11 in just a second. And verses 8 through 11, maybe I would kind of consider the bread and butter of chapter 1. The real strength that comes from Solomon's reasoning here. He says, all things are wearisome in verse 8. Man is not able to tell it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor is the ear filled with hearing. So here again we have this very bold statement. Everything is wearisome. Everything is droning. It seems to be a very negative outview on life. And a very negative outlook on life. And so he says, man is not able to tell it. The eyes aren't satisfied. The ears aren't satisfied. And so if everything is wearisome, and it was wearisome for the generation before him, and the generation before him, and the generation before him, why can't this man figure out that all these things that I'm doing are wearisome? They're troublesome. They're frivolous. They mean nothing. But he says, man cannot tell it. Man cannot understand. He cannot see that the people before him were miserable just as I am miserable, and the people continuing back on and back on. He continues to live in the futility of the world. We even see that the eye is not satisfied with seeing. Every single day, most people will see things in this earth, whether it be a car or a house or TV or whatever it might be, that's bigger than the one that they have and better than the one that they have and is above what they have. They might see somebody on TV that has more fame than they have, that has more money than they have. They might see a politician who is honored and looked up to for his position in society. And you might see an athlete who is a lot more capable of doing something that you would really like to do. And you continue to look at these things. The eye sees these things. And because we see these things, we see the things that the earth has to offer, we're not content with the things that we have. Our eyes are not content because of the seeing, because of the things that we are seeing. The ear is not filled with hearing. It's a continuation of the senses. We see, we hear these things. You hear about the things that are going on. You want them. You desire to be better, to be stronger, to be higher. You desire to put your focus on the things in this earth. And if that's the case, then we're going to continue, just as the people have before us, to be at a disadvantage. We're going to continue to be lost in the things of this earth, in the cycle that will continue day after day, generation after generation. And so, continuing on to verse 9, we'll read 9 through 11. That which has been is that which will be, and that which has been done is that which will be done. So there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which one might say, see, this is new? It is new. Already it has existed for ages, which were before us. There is no remembrance of early things, and also of the latter things which will occur. There will be for them no remembrance among those who will come later still. Okay. Change my slide over here. The past has seen everything. There is nothing new. And we think that we could disprove this maybe. Well, there's new things going on today that have not been going on before. But Solomon tells us here, that which is done has already been done. That which is being done and that which will be done is already done. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new on this earth. It continually uses that term under the sun to point to a physical aspect, a physical idea. The fact that the things on this earth are not new. You're not going to come up with something that somebody has not come up with before. Now we have computers. We have LCD TVs that can show you a blade of grass on a football field. You know, this is new. We have, a new president. We have new vaccines for sicknesses. We're coming up with new things each and every day. But the world has seen all of these things before. Maybe not in the exact same form. Maybe not a TV that can do this, or maybe not an athlete that has broken this record. Maybe not a new standard that has been put out. Maybe not a new vaccine for a sickness. But the world has seen war. The world has seen sickness and hatred and death, life, great writings, inventions, and the world has seen sin. You're not coming up with, the world is not coming up with new ways to sin. This is the same sin that has been going on since the beginning of time. Man has lost himself in these things for so long. They were seen for thousands of years before us, and he says they're going to continue to be seen long after us. As long as the Lord sees fit to allow this to go on this earth, people will continue to see all of these things. And people will continue to say, look at this new thing. Look at this new thing that we can involve ourselves in and engulf ourselves in. We can put our emphasis on this because it's new. It's something that has not been done before. Solomon says it's already been done. It's been accomplished. And for that reason, can I put any pride in myself, any motive in what I'm doing? The focus should not be there. Now, I will say, all of these things, there's not anything wrong with having a nice TV. There's not anything wrong with making more money than you have previously, having a good job. But once again, I will point to the fact that he says, there's nothing new under the sun. All of these things that are physical, that are earthly, are not going to gain you the advantage that you are looking for if you put your focus in that. It's about where you put your focus. And the last, when we come to a conclusion here in just a few minutes, we'll see the wisdom of Solomon and how his wisdom will show us the place that we should put our emphasis in our lives. So, I have written up here conservation of mass. This is a mechanical engineering thing, and to me this is really neat because even if you go down to a microscopic level, this can be proven. We can't create anything new. We can't destroy anything old. God has not given us that ability in the physical world. The term conservation of mass means if I take an orange and I cut it up into 12 slices and sling it all over the room and whatever it may be, if you looked around the room, you could account for every single molecule of that orange. I have not destroyed any of the molecules of that orange. I can't make them disappear. At the same time, I can't take the orange and make some more molecules come out of that. I can't grow something out of that unless I put something into it that's going to make it grow. I can't add anything to it that's not already there, and I also can't take away from it anything that it has already. God hasn't given us the authority to do that. When we split the atom, we may have split the atom, but there's still two halves of it. You can't destroy either one of them. They're both still there. God hasn't given us the authority and the ability to do that. So even down to the level that we cannot create and we cannot destroy what He has made, it has not been given to us to do that. It is beyond us and it is above us to do those things. So when I say something is new, when I say something has been created or something has been destroyed, it has not. It has been seen before me. God has seen it. Man has seen it. And I'm just finding something else, something that is different to engulf myself in, that is outside what the meaning of life is, that's outside what God has given us to really put our emphasis on. Okay? Coming down to verse 10, we'll read 10 and 11 again. Verse 11. Well, we'll go ahead and skip back to 10, excuse me. Is there anything of which one might say, see, this is new, it is new? Already it has existed for ages which were before us. There is no remembrance of earlier things, and also of the latter things which will occur. There will be for them no remembrance among those who will come later still. Somebody's going to come up to you and try and convince you that something is new.